is the good life.
Let's bring, so once you have all that in place, and I
Yeah.
love the idea that you brought up that do your research on your market.
Yes.
I think that's
I mean, even if
so
you don't do your
important.
research, just like identify it for yourself.
Mm-hmm,
Like I never did any research when I started shooting, people. But I'm like, okay, what do I want? I want babies and pregnant women. Well, those two are pretty closely related, so I reached out to all my friends who were having babies
Mm-hmm.
or, pregnant. So that's where I started. So that was my quote market research.
You reached out to your friends who were having pregnant women?
No, who were pregnant themselves and having babies.
Makes far more sense.
Yes.
When you're talking about your audience, I think your audience is a huge part of your type of business. So doing the research on your audience like that. But I also think what's really important to know is regardless of what audience you're actually selling to or whatever you're selling, whatever service you're actually doing, is that you are not your audience.
Oh, you are the perfect example of that.
Yeah.
How many times do I have to yell at you that you're like, I don't get this, I don't like that? I'm like, but you're not your audience.
Yeah. Minimum once a week.
Yes.
Minimum.
I don't know, but what were some of the examples I yelled at you about? I forget.
Like my perfect example, at least from the communication we just had so far, is that I don't like TikTok. Because I don't like short form and I don't like vertical video. Being someone who's really trained and really honed their craft in a horizontal type of media, it's very hard to revisualize that. It's like saying like, hey, you farmed all your life. You're a really good farmer. Now you're an astronaut.
It makes that much of a difference? You're kidding. Okay.
I was trying to do a Mitch joke there, and Mitch Hedberg. It's like, now you're a farmer, but now can you cook? It's like it's in the same world, but it has nothing to do with each other.
That's my perfect example. You're talking to the 95% that don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So you are not your audience, and I think that's really important.
So how did you find your audience? What did you do?
Oh, man, I don't know, because I think we're still trying to find we're getting our branding. We're understanding our branding, I think.
Yes.
And I think an audience is always evolving too, because when we first started, we really wanted to focus on like small to medium size businesses.
Yes.
And then we found out, we started doing this and we're like, when COVID hit, work went away. So I started doing more like educational videos. And that's when all the work came in. When people started seeing like value, which we'll get to in a second, when I started educating other people about what I knew, they were like, that's great.
And what you find interesting, because I think that's when the passion comes out.
Yeah, and I think that's important. Just because you're not your audience doesn't mean you don't like what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
But my audience, who I am, I already know all this stuff. Why would I talk about it?
Exactly.
Because I'm not my audience.
Exactly.
What kind of aspects have you found in the not being your target audience? Like your target audience is not you.
I guess the cost is a big factor. I hate to say it.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it's like I can't afford me.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And it's like, I know that sounds dumb, but it's like, because I am not a college educated woman living in the loop, who makes $100,000. I'm not that person, so I can't afford me. But that's my ideal client. That's my target market.
That's true. Yeah.